So my extreme Marxist colleague, who is a mindless follower of Joe Biden, raised the specter of insurrection and lawlessness. And the lawlessness that she was talking about is January 6th. How about the stinking lawlessness at the border every day? Title 8 is violated every day by this administration.
Can I raise a point of order?
The Title 8...
Just hold on the time. The gentlelady has a point of order.
Can we ask members of the committee not to cast aspersions upon members of the committee?
We had aspersions cast upon us by your member, ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, my observation is that extreme MAGA is used on a daily basis by the second,
Repeatedly.
and so saying extreme Marxist is fair game. You'll have the gentleman from Arizona continue.
Thank you. So the lawlessness that you see is coming across the border every day, failure by this administration to enforce the law. So let's get back to this. And I would just want to say one other thing. This is relative to what we've heard from one of our panelists. He's conflating, again, immigration law with border security. Now, there's a reason that you have 3 provisions in the Constitution that kind of address this. Article 1, Section 10 twice, Article 4, Section 4. One is dealing with invasion, and that is the security and safety of the nation, of those sovereign states. The sovereign states that actually created this federal government. The article in Section 10 that Mr. Brnovich brought forward with the authority under Article 1, Section 10, the state may defend itself when it has been actually invaded. Also, the invasion clause, Article 4, Section 4, that's what we've been talking about. But the import-export clause, that's the one I want to get to. Article 1, Section 10. A very unique understanding, but it gets at the heart of this. Expand, please, Mr. Brnovich, in about 30 seconds, your idea of the sovereign authority that rests with a state under the import-export clause, Article 1, Section 10.
Thank you, Mr. Biggs, for bringing up this very, very important point we haven't had a chance to discuss today. The import-export clause provides that states do have the ability to control what kind of goods are coming into their states. And even if you accept the premise of what other members of this committee have talked about as far as states not being able to enforce immigration law, that's generally true. However, states can control what is coming into their states. And so, for example, in Arizona, we have 10 ports of entry. I believe in Texas, there's 28 ports of entry. If the Biden administration wants to create an 11th or 12th or 29th or 30th port of entry, then Congress and the federal government can do that. But the states, at the same time, have the ability to force and channel all people, all goods, and commerce into those lawful ports of entry. So I believe there's a very strong constitutional argument, putting aside some of the other language, but even under the import-export clause, that states have the ability to force anyone coming into Texas or Arizona or California, any other border state, into those lawful ports of entry.
And so we get to the point, it is also, again, just as we were discussing about Article 4, Section 4, the invasion clause, in this clause, this is actually even more explicit. The authority rests with the sovereign state. It does not devolve into the federal government. Why would you allow the federal government then to say you can't have control of import-export, or you can't control and determine what an invasion is, when the sovereign state, and don't forget that the founders intended to recognize the sovereignty of the states to govern themselves. If you're going to turn the definition of invasion over to the federal government, who is violating the invasion clause, it just stands logic on its head. Yield back, thank you.